Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fabian Liberty. And on this series, we are doing political reactions. That is where we do music video reactions to music coming out or old music that has a political focus or is a protest song, etc. And unlike other channels where they might just look at the musicality or like their emotional reaction, we will do that as well. But we'll also look at how effective it is at its desired function, which is to say, does it invoke an emotional response? Does it inspire someone towards some form of activism or action? And we'll look at the lyrics and the political meaning, kind of the ideology behind them, and how effective they are at communicating that thought. Then we'll go ahead and we'll rank them either S tier at the highest, followed by A, B, C, or D tier. In that system, I stated previously that there are three kind of like songs that I think kind of match S tier, which would be BYOB, Bring Your Own Bombs by System of a Down, Sad Rappers by Tom McDonald, even though I'm not a big fan of a lot of his music. That song to me is an S tier, perfect. And basically anything by Dead Prez is going to be S tier as far as political music is concerned. So, this is the second video in the series, and, the last one was pretty popular. A lot of people were really, really upset. A lot of you guys were really upset, that I said that the Richmond, North of Richmond, which I said was an S tier song, was right-wing populism. I don't know what to tell you guys other than I'm sorry, but it is. I'm just right. I know that's arrogant and maybe possibly ignorant of me, to say, but, I think the major thing is that populism, and maybe I wasn't clear about this in the last one, and that would be my fault for sure. Populism is a political ideology that speaks to everybody. It speaks to the common man. Left-wing or right-wing populism, there's kind of something in it that everyone can feel. So for example, a great example of left-wing populism that was, not that long ago would be the rise of Bernie Sanders when he first came forward and he was fighting against the Clintons. And there was a lot of what the media coined Bernie bros that went and voted for Trump, right? Because of the populism, the idea that the wealthy elites, the politicians, the CEOs of large corporations are kind of playing a rigged game against the rest of us, in a broken system that that the benefits of which aren't trickling down to the rest of us, is the populist message. Another example of left-wing populism would likely be the birth of the Republican Party. Right-wing populism would be the birth of the Democratic Party when Martin Van Buren created the Democratic Party and ran Andrew Jackson as the first candidate, or the Know Nothing Party that preceded the Republican Party with tensions in the North from anti-immigrant sentiment to protect free white labor. Populism is kind of a baby ideology, right? It precedes other ideologies that take over. And so I'm sorry if I misconstrued this idea, because I was talking about the online reaction and why many like left-wing progressives, kind of bootlicker types didn't like that song, that I maybe leaned into the right-wing perspective of it too much, because, many of you are right that it is very subtle, the right-wing undertones of discussing the ineffectiveness of welfare systems, or the abandoning of minors is something that could be left-wing or right-wing. Many of these things could be, but the undertones and the things that are discussed are certainly things that are currently discussed in a lexicon that really only evolves around right-wing politics today. And that's okay. It's okay that a populist message speaks to everybody, despite it having some slight, subtle right-wing undertones. But I figure there's a remix by Chris Webby, who's never subtle about his politics, and it's only 3 minutes and 15 seconds long. And he is remixing Richmond, North of Richmond, or it says Chris Webby, North of Richmond remix. We'll look at that. We'll judge that. Is it as good as the original? We'll see. And then maybe, just maybe, when we see this, if I call it right wing or left wing or whatever it may be, I'll be more explicit about it, and I don't have to worry about upsetting too many people. Or what, F it. If you're mad, tell me you're mad in the comments. Tell me why I'm wrong. It's cool. It's all engagement. It's all fun, and I appreciate hearing everybody's opinions on it. So without further ado, let's get started.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an whole soul.
Already like the remix of like the slightly sped up, slightly pitched up. It sounds pitched up. Maybe it's not pitched up. Maybe it's just sped up so it sounds like the pitch is up. And then like the bass and the bass soon probably followed by the 808s and like some type of snap, I'm sure, coming in. But I like the vibe already.
In the new world with an whole soul. Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Yeah, give me freedom or give me death. To that we pledge allegiances. We the people had enough, it's time we aired our grievances against these treasonous demons. So raise the alarm, cause the pigs are fully taking over on this animal farm.
Okay, all right, this is already so good. Okay, so, Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death. He references the Pledge of Allegiance. He says, the pigs have taken over. It's like a double entendre there. We're talking about like the cops, maybe the FBI, maybe, maybe just the politicians in general, but also the pigs on Animal Farm from Animal Farm. Some people are more equal than others. Oh, this is already so good. I love Chris Webby.
Pigs are fully taking over on this animal farm. Don't know anymore. This world's gotten too cold to ignore. Shit, is it 2023 or 1984? Thought police.
So when he says this world has gotten too cold to ignore, I wonder if he just means that like we no longer have like the empathy and the love that we used to have for other people because we're divided, or is he kind of referencing, because he's referencing 1984, Orwell's other work as opposed to Animal Farm. But I also wonder if he's talking about like a Cold War mentality, like a kind of a rise of like us versus the communists. I don't know. It might just be an unintentional thing.
Farm, don't know anymore. This world's gotten too cold to ignore. Shit, is it 2023 or 1984? Thought police up at my door to open fire on me, but I'd rather die on my feet than survive on my knees. And please, we know how they looking at us from up at the top. The tougher they.
Love that. We know how they looking at us from up at the top. Like that little sped up cadence, like right as you hear a kick. Oh, it's perfect.
Then survive on my knees, and please, we know how they looking at us from up at the top. The tougher they made it for us, the fucking tougher we got. They thought they'd keep us scared forever, but fuck it, we not. We'll send them back to north of Richmond in some cuffs or a box.
Bow. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could.
I mean, I'm not going to comment on the box. I was just like,
oh, what's in the box? Just wake up and it not be true, but it is.
Yeah. Is that his dog? Is that Chris Webby's dog? Since Oliver Anthony just like had his own dogs and he's just like, fucking, I'll throw my beagle in there.
Wish I could.
And then just a random like wooden dog too. It's like, I got two dogs.
World's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an whole soul. The Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Behind the politicians, there's a far more sinister villain that's power-driven. Only answer to money is their religion. They controlling the way that we live in, keeping us mentally stuck in a prison, so that fire they know is rebellion never can spread whenever it's risen. But they've been seeing us waking up, and now they fucking afraid. As we the people get to seeing through their fucking charade. We're being played by these elites who would rather see us enslaved, as they lead us by the hand where the land's dug with a grave. And they could kill our character through stories they publish, or they'll just murder us and brand it as suicide to the public, or an accident.
What's really interesting about this is that I thought Chris Webby would be like more explicit, and he is, but this message is almost more populist, less of a political right or left bent than Richmond North Rich. I know it's going to piss you all off, but this is legitimately like, I could hear a communist saying this just as much as I could hear a libertarian or like a paleo conservative. Like this is a genuinely like populist message, and it's more pure form, not so much in a working class form, right? This is more of like an artist's expression at the frustration at the censoring of speech and the clamoring down and the lockdowns, and and then he mentions here the kind of like execution undertones, and it seems like he's hinting at like World Economic Forum, Davos, International Monetary Fund, Council of Foreign Relations, kind of like larger groups behind the scenes, or he could be talking about corporate powers. You can't really nail it down, but kind of whoever it is that you think he's talking about, that's what he's talking about. It's interesting.
Like character through stories they publish, or they'll just murder us and brand it as suicide to the public, or an accidental overdose. Print the story, run it, say it's fact, so people trust it, accept it, and move on from it. But it's time to pick a side and get to striking a nerve. In any way we're able, I'm fighting this fight with my words. And if they keep pushing, then fuck it, we inciting the purge. And just to think, all we wanted was the rights we deserve.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the world.
Yeah, bass kicking.
With an whole soul. The Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do.
I say welcome to Connecticut. Get to New Hampshire.
You know, but I know that you do. Your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. Cause the rich man, cause the rich man.
Yeah, that was really good. That was, oh man, it's exactly what I expected. Well, no, it's not. Musically speaking, it was exactly what I expected. Very crisp, very good. Chris Webby always delivers in that regard. I would say A. I would say it's an A. It's not quite an S tier like the original was. The reason for me is that while it's really good and it's vague, but it's properly vague, I don't know that it inspires the same feelings that the original does. I think there's a reason that the original blew up for everybody. It's because you can feel the pain and anguish of the working class man who just, you know what I mean? Like there's no political philosophy, breakdown or anything. And I think many of you captured that in the comments of my last reaction, is that like there's a genuine anguish. It's a lamentation of the downtrodden and the forgotten in rural America, or those wearing blue collars, that feel left out of whatever progressive nightmare dream bootlicking either side has for us. And Chris Webby certainly shows that same, frustration, but I don't want to say it's hollow, because it's not hollow. It's still it's still great, but it just doesn't hit so perfectly the way that the original does, in my opinion. So while I would say great song, love it, love the way that he remixed it. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Grab the chorus, speed it up a little bit, maybe up pitch it a little bit, bring in the lows and the bass, and then change up the flow a little bit when the kicks come in, which are I don't know how they're doing the I guess it's a snap sound. I don't know what type of, I'm not an audio engineer. I don't know any of that stuff, but very interesting, very good. A tier, love it. Check out the other here soon, here in about an hour. We will have Chris Webby's Raw Thought 6. I'm gonna react to that today as well. So stay tuned for that if it's not already out. And we'll see you there.